What's up, troopers? We are back. It's the Notorious Scoundrels. I'm Evan Paul. That's Mike Berry over there. We have a crazy show for you today. Mike, let's get it. Let's get it right off the bat. Let's just put it behind us. We are once again delaying the Shadow Collective.
Get wrecked!
Sorry, Shadow Collective players.
This is what happens when you're not a faction.
Yeah, when you're not a faction, you get pushed back for when actual news keeps happening like 4 weeks in a row.
And reasonably, like this is our last show before Adepticon.
Yeah.
Adepticon's going to happen. We're going to have the tournament worlds to talk about.
Yeah.
We're going to have whatever is in the roadmap to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry, Shadow Collective players. I'm sorry. We're probably going to have like, a month's worth of podcast content before we could possibly get to anything related to Shadow Collective.
This is like when you're dating somebody and they ask you, "Oh, when's the next time I'm going to see you?" But you're not like super excited about seeing them again. And you're like, "Yeah, I think maybe we can squeeze you in like 3 weeks."
Yeah. Well,
anyway, that's how we feel about Shadow Collective right now. I do legitimately
right now.
Well, it's most relevant right now because of this particular issue.
Sure.
But anyway, Shadow Collective players, I'm thinking maybe the second week of April, as long as that's before the April points changes happen, that might be a time when we can squeeze you in there. But hey, like by accident, by then there's maybe a decent chance that we'll know actually what the weekways do, and then we can sort of fit them in there. Or maybe we'll have seen a card for Mr. Savage. So that would make that easier to talk about a little bit.
Pretty sure that's the CIS unit, just so we're clear.
They have confirmed it's CIS and Shadow Collective for whatever it's worth.
So it's a CIS unit.
It is, yeah, it's a CIS unit. Anyway, that's the first thing out of the way. Otherwise, we are sponsored by LegionTerrain.com and also Game Toppers. Check out our YouTube page for more info about them. Also, we have some patrons to shout out. First of all, random patron Cassandra C. Thank you for being a patron. Also, Mike, we have 5 new and upgrading members to shout out this week. I'm not sure what it was about whatever the last episode we did was and what really inspired people. Well, I know exactly what it was for one of these new patrons. But I'm gonna name the four of the standard new and upgrading patrons first, and then we're gonna get to the last one. Is actually going to be a bit of a reveal at the end of the episode. That's what we call. Actually, what do we call that in show business? Where we sort of like give a sampling of something to try to keep people listening.
Preview.
Yeah, well, preview or bait. I don't know. There's like a nicer term for it. Exploitation for your listening time. Anyway, the other 4 new and upgrading people are Scott Morris, Andreas Hellberg. I know you. Thank you for joining. Alexander Hammond and Tom Chalk. Also do want to shout out our Captain Rex and above members. That would be Malmolian, Manny Katz, and Brad Bosserman in the Rex tier. And then, of course, in the Palpatier, we have Grant Saunier, who's been a long and storied member of the Palpatier, and also somebody who's gotten quite a few very lovely minis featured on the tail end of our podcast video. And also, this is shocking to me in so many different ways, the other new member of the Palpatier, which again we will reveal at the end of the episodes. You won't want to miss it. And it is also not a gimmick, even though none of you listening are going to believe that it's not a gimmick.
I thought it was a gimmick.
Even Mike thought it was a gimmick until I provided the truth, the terrible, terrible truth of what really happens. So more on that later. First of all, Mike, it's time to get serious about Adepticon. How are you getting serious about Adepticon?
I'm in full blown painting mode. Uh,
Yeah, okay, I should actually
I
probably
am
do that too.
I am paint on brush, going.
Mhm.
It's a it's good. From tournaments are really the only thing that like really motivates me to paint.
Same.
So it's I finished 2 units today. I'm doing some more tomorrow and the
Yeah.
rest of the week. And yeah, that's how I'm getting serious about Adepticon.
Cool. Yeah, I also I'm mostly painted, but I never quite finished my Grievous. By the way, speaking of people who are motivated in sort of the more appropriate way for the actual hobby part of this hobby, check out Hobby Phase, that's our painting YouTube video series by Rob's Hobbies, who does an amazing job and has that lovely narration. We're changing to some lovely new music that is not going to get copyright claimed.
Did
Because
the last one get
it
nailed?
did, even though, so this is like, I know you're listening, YouTube, but I have a gripe about you, which is that he used royalty free music, and we
Sure.
literally have the license for it, but we still got counterclaims every time, and I had to like put this stupid like fight thing in every time
Yeah.
to get like the few bucks on ad revenue. Believe me, this is not keeping the lights on in our homes. but in order to try to like scrounge up those few dollars of ad revenue, I had to like argue this is free. We even have the license for it. And yet we still got like counterclaimed every time. So anyway, we had to switch it up. YouTube is
It's
really
an
annoying.
algorithm, right?
Yeah, I know. It's like automatic stuff. And
Yep.
I never thought I would be in this world where I would be like submitting a copyright counterclaim thing. But again, here I am. This is part of being a content person,
Yeah.
talking head.
When I was doing a lot of Twitch streams for Legion, I had to do that a lot because Twitch was similarly a pain in the butt.
Yeah. So then his newest video is General Grievous, which is definitely going to be painted way better than mine will be, but mine will at least be fully painted, which it has not been up to this point. I do also want to shout out A, the Fifth Trooper podcast, B, TFT Minis, C, Mike doesn't even know about this one, but we are going to have an actual like Fifth Trooper sponsored Let's Play series from some friends of ours down in the Portland area. This is especially timely given the fact that my own plans for having a Let's Play series between me and Isaiah, where we literally finished one game of Tours of Duty, and then I realized that I unfortunately had way too much going on in my life otherwise to be able to keep this up as a series, and I feel bad that that is the place where I ended up, but some not super fun life events happened, and it just sort of necessitated a little bit of a shift in terms of what I'm able to do personally. But again, I'm glad that I got messaged by these folks down in Portland. Their first video will be coming out, I believe, around the week of Adepticon.
Nice.
And we're very excited about that. It's going to be Tales of the 503rd Legion.
The 503rd. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And I don't even know the story behind that one. I'm gonna have to find out like why they picked that number. But very excited about that. So yeah, we've got a lot going on with Fit Trooper. We have multiple shows.
Yeah.
Maybe this is why people are supporting the Patreon, or maybe it's just for the hotness of our takes. Whatever the reason, we appreciate
Which will
you.
continue today.
They will. Oh yeah, the takes are gonna stay hot. Don't you worry. Even though I had to, because this room is cold. I came here right after work, as Mike knows, and this is actually like this whole room isn't a separate like structure from my actual house. It's like attached to my garage, and so I have to actually turn the heater on anytime I walk in, so that I'm not spending $1 billion on heat.
Sure.
Which is why I wore this lovely sweater. So even though the room is cool, the takes are hot. That said, Mike, before I get into the way that I'm prepping for Adepticon, Here's the way that I like to stay cool.
Nice.
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. This is a special one. This is Cabo Citrus.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
It's late on the East Coast, so we're on the
caffeine-free Diet Coke.
Yep.
But yeah, 0 sugar, not 0 Baja Blast.
That's the way to do it.
This is gonna be a live review.
Just the first one?
Yeah. This isn't as good as the regular Baja Blast.
There's a reason the regular Baja Blast is still making waves.
Obviously, the fact that I'm being honest about this is more demonstration of the fact that PepsiCo still refuses to sponsor us. But
one day
this kind of just tastes like orange soda. I'm not going.
Orange soda's not bad.
Yeah, sure, but Baja Blast is Baja Blast. Come on, that's a cut above all the rest of the sodas.
Agree.
Anyway, the way that I'm prepping for Adepticon is by losing, Mike. I lost a game with my General Grievous list. This is literally the first time.
Oh
now,
my God.
3 things that are in my favor for this. One, that I did lose to the world champion on his 3rd attempt at beating the list. So the score is still 1-2, champ Isaiah. And it was like not a super like blowout game. We went to 5 rounds, but I was definitely losing. The second thing is that I lost because of a very, very identifiable mistake. And is this the first time that I'm actually going to be like slightly coy about my list? I think it is, actually. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about it all that much, but it was a very identifiable mistake. Mike knows what the mistake was.
I knew what the mistake was before he told
Mike
me
actually
what
knew what the mistake was before I admitted what the mistake was, which is hilarious. But the third reason why this isn't so bad is because it wasn't in either league or tournament, which means it doesn't count a Longshanks. I get to keep my win streak going, Mike, but don't worry, that's going to be going away like within 2 games. I'm still predicting a game 1 loss at Adepticon, so it'll go away by then.
We'll
see.
I'm gonna.
What would you say?
So we'll see. You got your loss in. Sometimes you just gotta kind of knock out the loss on the side and continue on your merry way of just trouncing people. That's part of how it is.
At Adepticon, the competition is significantly tougher. When I signed up for the Longshanks, like in the morning today, there were only like 8 people signed up so far for the top 64 on Longshanks, and I think of those 8, I was number 7 in terms of like player ranking. So that's just I'm just reiterating here that anytime I've talked about my Longshanks ranking, it is literally joking about it, because I think that this list is just sort of something very busted, and that it's been a lot of like people not having experienced it before and then experiencing it in all the wrong ways.
Sure.
So I think that Adepticon people will be prepared, and I'm not predicting myself in the top 8. I think you will get there, Mike.
We'll see. There's a lot of big names. When I looked at the registration for the top 64 a couple hours ago, I think there's like 9 or 10 people signed up. Yeah. But I think I can safely say, for the first time ever, I literally know everybody on that list. like I know exactly who they are.
Yeah.
And I don't think I can really say that about any other tournament, like setup ever before. So, I think it's gonna be packed with some competition for sure. And I am curious how many spots on the top 64 will actually be cut to.
I think it's actually, if I remember right, is it cutting to top 4?
No, sorry. What I mean is from the qualifying round into the top 64, right? Like based on right now, it's gonna only be like 50-ish players little more than that, assuming that everybody that is signed up is supposed to be signed up, which
I'm
is
pretty sure they are.
probably. You think it's only
Well,
9?
well, I think there's probably for the Longshanks part. I think that there's probably some people because I don't think that the link was like super well known. I only knew about it because you put it into our toxic chat. Um, the toxic chat where 3 out of the 4 of us, everybody except for Kyle Dornbos, ha ha ha,
Yo, whose
is
Longshanks
already in
rating
there.
is 100.
That's okay, Kyle. You'll get there eventually. That's still fun to say.
It is.
Yeah, so like I don't know how many GT winners are gonna be there, but that like those are the people who are gonna be there, right? And so I forget how many GTs America. I was gonna say America and Canada, but I won the only Canadian GT this year, and like I don't even know how many total there are, and so it might only be like 12
It might be.
total
It might
that
be. It could
could
also
actually be
be
in
like
there.
20, you know.
Yeah, it could be.
Which if it is that high, that means like there's like over 200 people I think registered for day 1, which means like only like 1 in 5
It's gonna
people
be
are going to make the
a
cut.
tight cut.
It's going to be a bloodbath. That's
I
what it's going to be.
I should also mention just before I get into trouble that I'm pretty sure that I think that maybe all 3 of AJ, Dave, and Ollie won GTs in England, and they're
I
coming over also.
I know it. Andy is signed up for the top 64 already.
Okay.
He's on the list. I don't know about the
I
other
think Ollie
guys.
and Dave also won GTs, and I think that they're both also coming over. So
I want to say I'm not positive about this, but I think I saw Dave's name under the main
okay.
main
Oh,
event.
okay.
I'm not
Maybe I'm
positive,
mixed up about what Dave won over there.
but yeah,
But anyway, there'll be a ton of good players. So
it's gonna be a ton of good players
the,
in the day 1 event
there's
too.
gonna be exactly like day one's gonna be ridiculous, and I feel like I feel like I am a little bit undeserved in already being in day 2, personally.
What?
But I don't know.
You got a guilty conscience, man. I don't know what's going on over there, but
I mean, like at the end of the day, I used a broken list to win a 20-person tournament,
okay.
right? So
Everybody
I don't
does
know.
that over the course of their career at some
Sure.
point.
But Mike, this is the peak of my Legion career, so it's all gonna go downhill from here. All right. Well, otherwise for Adepticon, I know that if it wasn't for the fact that we had Battle Pack 2 to talk about, which I do want to be the majority of this episode,
Yeah.
then maybe we would get into like some big numbers prediction game, and we can talk about whatever else you want to. But I did think that it would be fun for us to try to at least predict the faction makeup of the top 8.
Sure.
Since that's an easy enough thing to do. So Mike, why don't you go first?
Sure.
Yeah.
Faction prediction. I think the top 8 is going to be 5 CIS, 3 Rebels, and 1 GAR.
Okay. And of any of those, do you think there are any battle forces involved? Especially in GAR. Be careful.
If there is, it's either Ewoks or 212th.
I agree that of those 3 factions, Ewoks and 212th are the strongest. I think that I don't think EXD is going to be flying up there. I think that the regular CIS is the way to go right now.
I expect to see some people bring EXD.
I think people will bring it. Maybe not top 8 though.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure like where EXD falls on the power level curve at the moment. Kalani is still very good. EXD ability is still very good.
It's still one of the best shooting lists out there.
It is. It allows you to kind of like overclock your units 3 times a turn. It's kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't know. I do think that just there are better things going on in CIS right now, but
yeah, I don't think the Kraken personnel pushed EXE quite over the edge, the way that some people may have been hoping.
Is that an eligible upgrade to take
It
in?
it is. It
Okay.
was like that was how we learned about Kraken personnel even existing, was that it was added to the XT Battle Force document
I see. Yeah.
before we actually found out what it did. And there were lots. It was the same as Rex personnel or Rex squad leader, I should say. And it's fair to say that both those factions were somewhat disappointed with what came out. Sorry, Mike.
I have yet to see either of those upgrades in a game of Legion.
I have heard Kraken upgrade being talked about.
I think
on another podcast. That's all I'm gonna say.
Sure. Evan over here throwing shade. I do think that
it was Stabcast, by the way.
Sure.
Stabcast.
There's a conversation I think that we should have around Rex today after we have the battle card discussion.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I'm
I know what you mean.
I'm not saying like one way or the other how that conversation is going to go, but I do think that if there was ever a time for us to talk about it, it's probably in regards to this battle card pack.
I do know what you're referring to.
Yep.
And I think that I'm probably going to say thanks, but no thanks. But we'll get there when we get there.
Sure.
My prediction is close to that. So maybe it's slightly boring, but I'm predicting. Actually, okay, I'm going to do slightly farther away. I'm going to do 3 CIS, 3 Rebel, and 2 GAR. Because I'm a believer that I'm a believer that GAR can get through. I'm not a believer. This is the one that might bite us, Mike, is that neither of us are predicting Empire in the top 8.
I think there's a chance for Remnant to get it in there.
Are we crazy though for not predicting Remnant in the top 8? Maybe that is crazy.
I just think Grievous is like too good against that list.
I never got to test it. I'm hopefully still going to get to test it against Kyle before Adepticon starts. But you know what? I'm going to change because I remember Remnant. I was thinking about regular Empire. So my new one is 3 Cis, 3 Rebel, 1 GAR, and 1 Remnant specifically. And I do think that one of those rebels will be Ewoks. I think the GAR will be non-battle force.
I don't know. I do think that Ewoks might get stomped on from a meta call decision.
Flamethrower is more popular now.
I think people are all over flamethrowers because of Cassian.
Cassian, exactly.
and so I think Ewoks get a lot worse when people are just like packing flamethrowers just casually into a lot of lists.
It's true. It depends on how many flamethrowers, because Chewie can take care of 1 flamer ATRT before it becomes an issue.
Depends. It depends on. I think a Rebel ATRT. Yes, that is probably true.
Yes. Yeah.
Like specifically that unit, but like Spider Droid Flamer ATRT,
That's
Republic
harder.
ATRT,
That's way harder. Yeah.
Either of the Mandos
Yeah.
flamethrowers. Like I think Chewie starts having problems.
I think that's fair. Yeah. Do you have any other predictions about Adepticon, Mike?
I don't know if this is really a prediction, but I am just curious, like what their plan is to show us, because they've showed us a lot in the last
about the reveal show
2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, and like much more than like a lot of the stuff that we've gotten to talk about the last 2 to 3 weeks, I thought was stuff we were going to get to talk about after Adepticon, because that's where we were going to get the info. I was very surprised that like the Hauntons and
High Command,
yeah, you know, and to some degree this battle card pack
too,
you know, although this card pack's release date is technically before Adepticon now,
yeah,
so that's like a little bit less surprising. Just interesting. I definitely thought that this was all going to be like post Adepticon analysis and thoughts and all that jazz. So I'm just curious as to what is on the menu for Adepticon, because all of a sudden there's really not that many things that we know about that are like in the wind rules wise.
Yeah, it's Jedi High Council, Weather Stormtroopers, Mud Troopers, the Rebel Heavy Boys, whatever they're called. I don't even remember. and then the Separatist High Command pack, which would just be Trench and Savage, because we know the other two.
I mean,
Yeah, and that's it, I
there's
think.
also the Spectres.
Yeah, but they haven't even shown the minis for them, right?
Totally. You know,
Yeah,
it's again, I don't know. I do expect to hear something about the second upgrade pack, whether that's cards or like
fair.
when
Yeah,
we can expect it.
that's right.
Just because like I'm actually a little surprised that it's not like pre-orderable or anything through Asmodee yet.
It's
'Cause
not
we're
coinciding with the battle card pack. I figured
right.
that's what would be the
Yes.
case. Yeah.
That me too. I definitely thought that those two things would be kind of like paired together in like a new. This is like season 2,
Yep.
or whatever. So I almost thought that they would be the same pack, but they're not. So, yeah,
Yeah. And then, of course, like there's, I'm sure, other stuff that we don't know about. And we're hopefully going to be able to get a nice interview in at Adepticon where we can ask about so many things that we want to ask about with Mr. Wilshick or whoever they send over to be tortured by our harsh, hard cutting interview questions that we're known for. But yeah, we're very excited, and for any of the listeners that are going to be there at Adepticon, please do come up and say hi. Mike, I swear that Mike is a nice guy, and that he's very approachable. Despite whatever airs he tries to put on this show, you're doing a really good job selling it, Mike. Yeah, super nice guy. No, we look forward to seeing everybody, and yeah, look forward to some good competition. So that's Adepticon. But here's why we once again had to push back those poor Shadow Collective boys: is that somebody got an early copy of Battle Card Pack 2 and put all these cards on Reddit, which was very nice of them. Which means that we get to talk about them all now. Mike, I don't know where to start. Like, should we start with the advantages?
Let's start with the advantages. They're easy to
Okay,
talk about. Yeah,
cool. I'm curious. So back when we saw the first half of these advantages, the thing that I remember openly wondering is how many of these factions did they show us the worst of the two advantages?
sure.
And I think that the answer to that was 1, but I'm curious to see whether your answer to that is going to be 2. So we will find out when we get there. Let's start with the first one, which is my favorite.
Sure.
Armored Assault. CIS only. At the start of the first activation phase, choose up to 3 allied vehicle units. Each chosen vehicle unit gains 1 aim token. Mike, you know what I needed more of on round 1 is aims. Now, Mike posted something especially salty about this in the Discord. You said something like, I think that Evan's staffs needed more aims.
Yeah.
But you were wrong about that, Mike, because what is actually true is that my 2 Aqua Droids and Grievous, they needed 1 more round 1 aim. Because what happens, like, this is, I actually get fake upset about this when this happens in a game where I spend all 3 of my available aims on the Aqua Droid and I still have like 2 blanks on my white dice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, this isn't fair. Well, now I can have a 4th one and probably, usually have 8 hits out of 9 in most cases. But more importantly is that General Grievous, who usually gets to make a shot on round 1, sometimes gets to make an overrun attack if somebody was a little bit too aggressive going into Grievous. But now he'll have a name token for that, and like he started to crit, so I'm happy for that. So yeah, finally my list gets some balance. What do you have to say about this, Mike?
This is a command card.
Yeah.
This is a command card you get to. I don't know how good this is actually. I think it's It's probably not quite advanced intel. It's probably better than advanced intel in some lists.
Sometimes it is better than advanced intel.
Yeah.
If your activation differential is high enough that advanced intel wouldn't have mattered anyway, for instance.
But like, in the last game that we played, this card would have done you nothing. Like literally nothing.
Accurate.
Right?
Yes.
So like there are sometimes this card is going to be dead, and I think at the higher tier games, that's going to be more likely to be true.
I will say that for a list running a range 4 weapons, it's pretty much always going to be relevant, right?
I think this is really where I think this shines is actually not in a list like yours. I think it shines in a list with Persuader tanks.
Yes, exactly.
AATs.
Yes. Because they're always going to get to shoot, right? Like they're never not going to shoot.
Spider droids that have like range 4 guns.
Yep.
That's where I think this is really good. I'm imagining like armored assault on is it engage whatever protocol gives you like precise 2.
Attack protocols.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Which means that these aim tokens are really like 2 aim tokens each, right?
Yeah.
On those units. So that's where I think that this card is the best.
Yeah, I agree.
In those lists, I think it's probably way better than Advanced Intel. I could see a world where your list doesn't even play this card.
My plan, of course, like after Adepticon, it's sort of going to depend on how April goes in terms of what I'm going to be taking to World Team Championships, because that's going to be a post-balance change.
Yeah.
But if this was legal for Adepticon, I would probably take Advanced Intel and both of the new advantages in my list.
Sure.
Because like right now I have Ordnance in there, which is sometimes pretty blank. And also I do have to be careful to not hurt my own guys with Ordnance. But, like Command Override and Armor Assault, like I think CIS might be the one that sort of got away the cleanest out of all 4 factions, with both of these new advantages being like, so CIS list that is not vehicle heavy, again, Armor Assault's not going to be great for that. But certainly if you are vehicle heavy, then both these are going to be useful. Command Override can go into every CIS list.
Yeah.
Because they're all going to have lots of AI. I guess maybe if it's a pure Geo list, they wouldn't care about Command Override. Maybe.
It's funny. This is actually a critique / complaint I have generally about the new advantages.
Yeah.
I think both of these are pretty bad in some like I guess for CIS it's not really battle forces, but like if you're playing Geos, like both of these cards are terrible.
Geo's probably still playing Aqua Droids and maybe Staffs now. And so there could be, because like you have to put something else on the list, right?
Sure. Yeah. I'm thinking more like I'm taking 6 Geo Supers, Poggle, Sunfac, probably backing him up with like Kalani or something.
Yeah, even that has like 300 points left though. So
sure.
Yeah,
yes. You guys get everything for free. We know.
I know exactly. It's like so weird to say that you have like 6 super squads and Kalani and Poggle and Sunfac, and you can still put a few vehicles in there. But yeah, like I do think that is accurate. And if you're not running a ton of vehicles, then obviously Armored Assault's not going to be for you. Or if you do have vehicles, but your vehicles are like Flamer Spiders and Droidicas, is that Armored Assault is going to be crap for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but overall, like for certain lists, very, very good. So next one, Rapid Deployment. This is the other GAR one. At the start of the first activation phase, choose up to 2 allied core clone trooper units. Sorry to future Gungans, ? Maybe. The chosen units gain reinforcements, which is the free speed 1 move at the end of round 1. This is like pretty good.
I mean, it's definitely better than the other one.
It's better than coordinate. It's better than the coordinate vehicle one. It's pretty good.
I think it might be better than pretty good. Eva, to be
you think it's better
with
than
you.
pretty good? It's like if you have 2 super squads, then it's better than pretty good.
I mean, I'm thinking if you bring in 5s in Ahsoka, like you just
it's very strong for them for sure.
Yeah, seems really good. um game breaking, I don't know, but like every time that I have like guidanced both of those units like forward on turn one,
Yeah,
it's felt really good outside of the fact that it cost me everything. Here it's free.
it's true. Uh, it is only this is only a speed one move, so it's a little bit different.
Well, speed
But
one moves enough.
it's at the end of the activation phase, which makes it better than guidances because you get to do it after all the shooting is over. And with the super squad, like you can use that range one cohesion plus the terrain situation to, like, even with the speed one move, even if you're sort of quote unquote exposing yourself, like you can arrange your guys so that there's only one shootable dude in the whole giant unit.
Yeah.
And so you're a lot closer, but that you're not all that exposed in the grand scheme of things. So yeah,
Also, for marksman, this is not a speed downgrade.
yeah, it's just like an extra move.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I
like
actually think it's also very good for marksman, just because like moving is a pain.
yeah, moving sucks. Sometimes you need to aim shoot with those guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody who has played, that's the funny thing is that reinforcements as of right now is literally only Kalani and his command card and swoops, I think, and are the only ones that actually have that keyword. Unless there's something that I'm missing about that. But this opens it up to a much wider, like, sort of variety of lists that could be messing around with reinforcements. And let me tell you, reinforcements is a very useful keyword.
Yeah, I think my biggest complaint about the two guard advantages
Yeah.
is that they're both basically unplayable in the Wookiee Battle Force.
Much like most of the rest of the Wookiee Battle Force. Anyway, we should move on.
Okay, continue.
The new Rebel advantage is scrambled orders. Rebel only during setup. Place an allied comm scrambler, which is an advantage token, on the battlefield. Enemy units within range one of one or more comms scramblers. Maybe that's for multiplayer, the one or more thing. Or maybe
There might be
come up
other ways to put them down.
Sure.
You know.
Anyway, enemy units within range one or more comms scramblers cannot be issued orders. Enemy units gain full action, destroy comm scramblers, and you have to be within securing range, which will range half, to actually remove the comm scrambler. So this does not limit in any way where you can put it, which would mean that probably you would put it on the POI that you think you're going to be fighting for. Like, it's worth mentioning that this is more, okay, you're going to tell me, Mike, but before I get to your opinion, it's worth mentioning this is more restrictive than the Comms Jammer upgrade, because Comms Jammer upgrade allows you to self-issue, and this prevents any issuing. So it must also, is aside from like messing with comms, is probably also like a really loud alarm clock. So you can't even hear yourself think. Like, Anakin wouldn't be able to issue himself an order for his one pip or whatever. But anyway, Mike, where would you put this thing? Tell me.
Yeah, so first of all, I don't think this card is good. Second,
I don't think it's good either, but where would you put it?
but I think you put this on the POI that your opponent has to travel the farthest to, and that you think it is possible that they will try and take from you. So,
Oh, so like a friendly POI?
yeah, something closer to your zone. Like if we're playing bunker assault, we're talking about putting it on one of your bunkers as
That
opposed
makes
to putting
sense.
it on. And the reason for this is that it costs an action to remove, right? So the farther they have to go to get to it, the higher the likelihood is that they're not going to be able to actually have a spare action to remove it.
I think that's right.
And so, I think it's probably pretty good on like close the pocket. That seems good to me. But like, I don't think it's good on like shifting priorities.
No, because it's going to be irrelevant really quickly.
It's just gonna be gone.
Yep.
Like, um, yeah, that's how I'm feeling about it. And I think a lot of
Also
times,
seems really bad in Recover the Research, honestly.
yes, I think it's like pretty bad. Well, I think again in Recover the Research though, I think it's one of those situations where you put it on one of your POIs. You probably put it on like your middle one.
Your center POI, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that they have to like really reach out to touch it. And it probably costs them all their moves to get there. And then they get there and then they can't issue that unit an
Right.
order. Right.
I think it's fair.
So is the effect powerful enough to the thing is, this is like a Ordnance is a really hard card to play properly. Or in Strafe and Run.
Yes.
This card is like Ordnance, but like you gotta like 5D chess like way farther in advance. Like Ordnance, you're like, it's the beginning of the turn. I have to think about where you're going to be at the end of the turn. This is like, it's the beginning of the game. I need to think about where you're going to be on turn 4 or 3 or wherever, and
Yeah.
I gotta be able to catch you with it, right? And if I mess that decision up, this literally does nothing. And the impact of this is often going to be like less than Ordnance. Sometimes it'll be more, but you have to forecast where they're going to be. They have to then decide to still send the unit that is like really going to be most impacted by this to where the thing is.
And they also have to care about them not being able to issue orders, right? Because like some lists play with the pool. Like if it's like a 6 snowtrooper list, and they're sending like 2 of their snowtroopers at the POI that has this on there, they literally like don't care.
Well, I don't think this is more like so Vader can't issue orders to himself.
Yeah.
Right. Or General Grievous can't issue orders to himself.
Sure. Yeah.
Like that's where this card is good. I don't think like if it's like a random snowtrooper unit, your opponent doesn't care.
Yeah.
But
they weren't getting orders anyway.
But this is like one of the only cards that doesn't allow like
self-ordering.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So
that is relevant. I do think like we're talking about all these like potential ways to squeeze life out of it. I generally think that because the fact that it does just take one action to get rid of it if your opponent really wanted to, is that it does. And I know an action is an action. It's 1/12 of the total actions that you get for the entirety of an entire game.
First of all, Evan, get your facts straight. It's 1/10.
1/10. Sorry, there's fewer rounds now.
And
oh my god,
most,
I'm an old
most
Legion
games it's really 1/8.
Hang on, Mike. It's if Han plays his 1 pip on round 2, then it's 1/12. Or no, he would have to wait until round 4 or something. I don't know, Mike. Listen, I got it wrong. Okay, it happens sometimes. Well, I'm sure that by the time we get back from Adepticon, we'll have a Mondo corrections episode. I've already collected a couple of years, by the way. So
nice.
You are going to be on there. Yeah.
Great.
It's not just me. It's only like 4/5 me. Okay, so moving on to the other Empire card, which I think wins the award for best art out of any of these cards, because of the action shot of the stormtrooper on the left. But Extreme Discipline. Empire only during setup, place 2 advantage tokens on this card. When an allied unit gains 1 or more suppression tokens after the effect is resolved, you may remove 1 advantage token on this card. If you do, the allied unit removes all of its suppression tokens, then suffers 1 wound. And I misread this at first, Mike, because I thought that all that it did was that it got rid of the suppression tokens it gained for like that attack.
Oh, sure.
And I was like, oh, this is terrible. But it does get rid of all of them. The thing that's worth mentioning is that if you're gonna do it, you have to choose to do it when you gain the suppression token. Yeah. But you can do it during any trigger for a suppression token. So it could be that you got shot, or it could be Jedi Mind Trick, or it could be comms, slice comms, or command card, or whatever.
Or it could be compel.
Or it could be compel. Yeah.
Right. Like there are a variety of things that.
So like this one I think is list dependent, but I could see it. What do you think, Mike?
I think this is the best advantage out of all of them.
Ooh.
I think out of all 8 advantages, all 8 of the new ones, I think this one's the best.
It does feel especially good for Empire.
This is I uh I don't know them all by heart yet, but I think this might be the only advantage that's on literally all game, and you don't have to like decide to like play it at the top of a phase or
That is accurate.
this
Yes.
this is just like an effect you have all game for when you want to use it, and it's just like sitting on the sidelines like a battle force ability, and you can just be like, yep, I take a wound, that unit doesn't have suppression anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously you like have to take a suppression token to trigger it, but I think this is probably the best of the advantages of the new ones.
This plus bring them to heal could be very mean in terms of like disallowing your opponent from it doesn't prevent like the initial score if they did panic a unit, but it could be good for like the end of phase trigger of bring them to heal to like be winning the suppression fight.
Yeah, I think it does a lot to also unshackle Empire from Commander Vader. Um, to be quite honest, I think one of the reasons you see them playing Commander Vader is obviously compelled, but like that infinite courage bubble
Yeah.
is like pretty important.
Being
And
unpanickable is important.
yeah, and this doesn't mean you're unpanickable, but it does mean that your opponent basically can't panic units to stop you from scoring.
Yeah.
At least until you're out of charges on this card, which yeah, I think this is really good. I could end up being wrong about this being the best one, but I think at least on paper, this is definitely the one that has the most use cases, I think,
Yeah.
and is just like generically extremely powerful.
Yeah, like I do think that it's sort of tied with Command Override in terms of being universally useful, like almost universally useful. I mean, uh, we obviously talked about those geolists that don't care about Command Override, but getting 2 free orders over the course of a game is like really nice.
But
Um,
like 2 free orders is great, but this is a card that's going to score you actual victory points. Like when you use this card properly, you are going to prevent your opponent from preventing you from scoring.
Yeah.
And like that's just really good.
it was really, really good for dewbacks, which are sort of eminently panickable.
Anything that has tenacity.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what this is like pretty good on? Maybe. Could you technically this is kind of silly. Could you use this on Fifth Brother and trigger it twice to trigger a charge? Is there a way for you to like give him suppression tokens naturally?
I don't think so. But yeah, I don't think so for Fifth Brother. That would be hilarious. I mean, it's also hilarious that potential tech comes out that would have helped Fifth Brother, but it's actually like, nope. you stay in the corner over there,
I think
Fifth
it'd
Brother.
still be really bad, but
yeah.
But like it would be funny if this kind of like unlocked like Fifth Brother gains charge.
But like you mentioned tenacity, like this is literally a thing you can do with dewbacks is you can just spur, take a wound, and turn tenacity on.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, hey,
that's actually like
that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Is it like the best thing in ever?
No, it's just like really good tech,
Yeah.
like especially if you don't, especially if you're like, you have the flamer, but you're attacking like a character and you want to like get those extra dice, you want to have tenacity turned on, then yeah, like one more red dice, it's worth taking a wound.
Yeah.
And then also on top of like getting there in a place where you're not going to be suppressed the next round. So yeah, cool. Extreme Discipline. It's good art, very good card. Yeah, so in a way, Empire might have actually come out the best in terms of advantages because Black Ops is also a very, very good card.
I think Black Ops is fine, but yeah.
Black Ops is more list dependent, obviously. But I do agree that pretty much every Empire list can carry around extreme discipline, even if you are running Commander Vader, because his courage bubble can't be literally everywhere.
I also think extreme discipline is kind of insane in the battle forces. They all have issues with taking suppression tokens on units.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
that.
Tempest and Remnant especially.
Yes, and I don't know.
And Stormtrooper Battalion also has issues with it sometimes. So yeah. Stormtrooper Battalion also running a lot of Stormtrooper Super Squads that don't really mind taking a wound all that much.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like they're fine. Okay, cool. Let's go into the objectives, and I asked Mike to do a little bit of math. So I'm going to be reading off the card, and then Mike, you're gonna tell us about what the VP math is on these.
Yep.
And then we'll sort of get to some commentary. So up to you, Mike. You want to start with secondaries or start with primaries?
Let's start with primaries. Primaries feel like they're more game defining generally.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right. The first one is the one we saw the map for, but not the actual card for, which is why we did not talk about it in the podcast until Brian started blabbing about it, and then we had to spend time explaining it. Brian, bad podcasting. Cheers, Brian. Contact. So there's, we will be showing this on the YouTube page. I'm not going to describe the square by square of what these maps look like, but there's 5 POIs. And there are special rules, which is that any unit contesting one or more of these listening posts, which are what the POIs are called, have precise 1. And then when it gets to scoring, starting the second round, during each end phase, you score 1 VP for each listening post you secured in allied or contested territory. And that means that for each player, there's a total of 4 POIs that you get 1 point each for scoring on, because there's 3 contested and then 1 on the blue side, 1 on the red side. But if you are securing the enemy listening post, then you score 2 VPs. So, Mike, what are the points looking like on this one, and what do you think of the objective in general?
Yeah, so the max score you can score per round on this one is 6, which is high.
That's high.
You know, it's definitely on the high end. It's not bunker assault, but it is
right.
It is breakthrough. It's pretty middling on like what your expected score per round is. I think it's probably closer to 2.
Yeah.
2, maybe 3, depending on if like you're winning the fight in the middle or not.
Right.
And then I came up with another stat that I don't know how relevant it's going to end up being, but the average distance away from a deployment edge of each POI on this objective is 3.43, which is the second highest in the game, behind Close the Pocket.
Okay.
So this one is the one that you have to travel the farthest. Second one you have to travel the farthest to like actually go and contest POIs. So things that I think are interesting about this, first of all, the deployment zones are like make for like a really cool and interesting map. However,
okay,
if you don't have prepared positions, they literally, or infiltrate, they don't matter, right? Like which is true of like all the maps, but like this is like way more important for this one because they're so weird and like just out there.
Because you have to deploy from an edge unless you have prepared positions or infiltrate, and you know these maps have this big like column in the middle that juts out there that is literally only relevant for units of those keywords.
Yes. And so that, you know, if we're taking like blue player perspective on this, the POI that's farthest to the left could be the closest POI to you if you have prepared positions and infiltrate units. It could also be the farthest one away.
Yeah.
If you don't, right?
Yeah.
So or I guess tied for farthest between that one and the one that's in your opponent's deployment zone.
Right.
So depending, this one I think maybe more so than a lot of other objectives we've seen so far is gonna really, how it plays is going to depend on like how many of those keywords are in your list and also in your opponent's list, because if your opponent doesn't have any of those keywords, the one that's 5 opposite them but is only like 3 away from you is actually kind of free to take.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But all of a sudden, if they have like aqua droids, it's not so free. Right.
Yep.
And I do think that this one is going to be it's actually, I think it's a little deceiving because of the deployment zones. I actually think this is going to be one of the highest mobility objectives in the game.
Yeah.
Because
Speeders love this one.
of how far the objectives are from table edges. And you know, speeders are good on close the pocket too. You know, that's like a thing. So that is kind of my overall analysis on this one straight out of the gate. I think this one is very likely to be like stalemated, you know, we're each taking 2 victory points a turn. I think the likelihood that you ever score 2 VPs off the one in your opponent's zone is low that it matters, because if you're doing that, you've probably
You're already winning
you've
anyway.
steamrolled your opponent already.
Yeah.
Like you've literally gone through the middle of their army, crushed them, and are now scoring their home POI.
Which is also kind of the way that I think of destroy enemy base in a lot of ways.
Sure, yeah.
Which is like, if you actually destroy the enemy base, it probably means that you're winning the fight by so much that like the rest of the game actually doesn't matter all that much, and that those 4 VPs are sort of an afterthought. But yeah, I gotta say, like, kudos to the design team on this objective. Like, I think that this is like a very clever way to make certain keywords extra valuable. That said, you know, once we get to the end of all this, we're going to talk about sort of like the big question that gets raised by the fact that all these objectives are going to be out there, but we're going to save that, Mike.
Yeah, I do think, you know, we didn't really talk about the precise one bit outside of like saying,
oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
You know,
Dark Troopers or Death Troopers rejoice. Precise 3.
The amount of times you actually need to reroll 5 dice
right,
is
exactly.
so low.
Exactly.
With that being said, I do think that this objective could be pretty good for range troopers.
Yeah.
You know, if they were costed appropriately.
If
but
they had prepared positions, which they probably should.
Sure. I do think that, you know, lists that auto-generate aim tokens are going to be pretty happy with it. Long-range shooters are probably going to like this objective too, I think. Long-range shooters that have aim tokens. You know. Republic's probably going to play a lot of this, particularly if marksmen turn out to be good. You know.
Or if arc snipers become good someday. No, actually, they don't even care
arc
about
snipers. Literally don't have enough dice.
They can't even do it. But okay, let's say if the Echo ARF Trooper was like good someday, then that would like this.
I think if there was a unit in the Republic arsenal that likes this more than clone marksmen, it's probably ARF troopers.
Yeah.
But I don't know why you would ever play them. So
yeah, for marksmen though, like pretty solid.
Yes, I think
overall,
I think that this is a pretty good objective for clone marksmen, and probably for that matter, short troopers too. I think we'll like this objective a lot, and with Empire having like copious access to aim tokens in post high command meta, probably they'll probably like this. We'll see. I don't know.
You know who else likes this is aqua droids with linked targeting array. Anyway, we should move on.
Well, also like probe droids like this objective a lot.
Could they have infiltrate, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This one you could like, especially on this list where you've like made the list so that you have a crap load of special forces tokens and you get decent control about when the probe droids actually get out there.
Yeah.
Like, your opponent will have to hedge their bets like pretty decently. It's a little bit terrain dependent. They're going to want a good place to hide close to those POIs, but yeah, you could do some pretty mean stuff by putting the pro droids in the fat part of the deployment zone. And it could be really, really annoying for your opponent to have to like hedge against that.
Yeah.
All right. So we already know about outflank, which means that the next one we're talking about is payload. It's back, Mike. And I think that this is an interesting way that they brought payload back. So setup place 3 bomb carts, which are POIs, but shout out to the people who hopefully you had vital assets from old Legion, and hopefully you didn't buy vital assets for new Legion and then find out that it actually is not a very vital asset as far as expansions go. But yeah, shout out if you're gonna like carry the real bomb carts around.
I don't think they're the right sizes.
They're not, but you would have to have taken it off of the old base in order to put it on a solid POI base. But extra shout out if you do that. So only 3 POIs, and scoring is starting in the second round. During each end phase, players score 1 VP for each bomb card they secure. Then players take turns placing each bomb card they secure that is not in enemy territory within half range of its current position, starting with blue player. Each bomb cart may be placed this way only once per round. After all bomb carts, if any have been placed, players score 2 VP for each bomb cart that is within enemy territory. So it's sort of like shifting priorities in terms of the timing, except it's the opposite of shifting priorities, where you get to move it if you're winning it. And then this is like, it should be noted that this 2 VP is a separate score from the VP that you get from securing it. And so now, Mike, you can tell us about like what the total available VP is for this one.
Yeah, so I think the max score per round on this, actually, I think I calculated it wrong, perhaps. Let me just reread the card real quick.
If you had a game that went to like infinite time in VPs, you like a player could be scoring 9 per round from this. That's never going to happen, obviously.
Yeah, it's I think max 9 per round. Yeah, it's never gonna happen. But so, but I also think like the average score per round is still gonna be like 1. I think this is gonna be super low scoring.
Generally, I think you're right.
Like even lower than close the pocket.
It should be noted this is our first full battle lines deployment zone where it goes all the way across.
Yeah. I also think like it's kind of because of how the POIs aren't all in the middle. I think that this is prone to toilet bowling, I think, a little bit.
I do. Yes. Like, I think you're going to deploy basically between, like, going left to right, you're going to deploy between the leftmost and the center one most of the time. Or I guess you're going to start deploying towards the center, see what your opponent is doing, and then probably deploy the rest away from where your opponent is. It's sort of list dependent in terms of what you do.
Well, I think that there's like a couple different strategies you can take here. Either you can take the safe approach and like score the one that's closest to you and move it across the battlefield very slowly. But if you win your opponent's one on turn 2, you just immediately start scoring.
You score 3 VPs.
Three VPs off that one, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of lists are not going to be able to do that. Lists that might be able to do that include, I don't know, 4 wheel bikes and
Grievous and 4 wheel bikes, maybe.
You know, like
you think.
This is the sort of objective where that is going to be really dumb.
Yes, I agree. I really think that Grievous and 4 wheel bikes is going to be stupid on payload.
I mean, the Hauntauns might be too. I think even normal Tauntauns, I think, can make that.
They can get there.
Your opponent's farthest objective. So I don't know.
Yeah. A Tauntaun that's at speed 3 moves 9.5 inches.
Yeah.
And so it can definitely get there.
So like there are 2 ways you can play this. You can play this the safe way, or you can play it like super aggressively, I think. Which I guess is good. But makes me a little bit nervous for people forcing payload in in situations where it's really good for them in the aggressive category.
We will talk about that at the end of the segment. A little preview for something we're going to talk about. But hey, I'm glad Payload is back. I think that this mostly captures the feel of the old Payload, and like luckily I hate what Payload became when the Payload stopped teleporting back in the day, for those that remember, because it used to not care about terrain, and then it was changed that it did care about terrain, and it suddenly became like the worst objective at all time.
I mean, it cares about terrain here.
It does. I'm talking about like the old version of Payload.
I know you are.
Yeah. I do miss the original version a little bit. It does care about terrain in the sense that that like you need to have a legal place for the POI to be.
Yes.
Which means that you will want to move it around strategically. There's no strategic placement involved, unlike the old version of Payload. But sometimes the game board may just sort of mess with you a little bit. And just like to do the quick math, so you move it a half range each time. That means because the POI itself is 2 inches, that it moves 5 inches every time it moves, right? If you're doing like the full movement thing. Because it's 3 inches for the half range, and then it's 2 inches for the actual dimensions of the POI.
I think that's right.
So that means that it moves like not quite range 1 each time.
I think you've got to move if it's the closest one to you, I think you got to move it 3 times. The middle one, you got to move twice.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
I think.
Yeah, I do think that you're right, which means, yeah, so like round 4 would be the soonest that you can score the closest one, which is not nothing, because like, you know, that still means that you potentially score it twice. And then even after that, like as long as, even if you end up tying on that last round, if it's still in your opponent's zone, then you would still score those 2 VPs at the end. It might even create situations where people will body block to prevent the POI from moving like in a precise way.
You could prevent him from moving at all.
Yeah,
with like a super squad.
That's a good point. Super squads could actually make this really, really annoying in terms of preventing things from moving at all. So this is going to make cohesion, which is like an advanced skill, but it'll make it even more useful than it already is, which it already is. Cool. So that's Payload. Cauldron. This is a great name for an objective. So 6 waypoints, just like Recover the Research, in sort of a fat X pattern. So scoring. Starting in the second round, during each end phase, players score 1 VP for each waypoint they secure in allied territory, and 1 VP for each they secure in contested territory that is within range 2 of another waypoint they are securing. Additionally, players score 1 VP if they are securing both waypoints in contested territory. Special rules. During the end phase, units contesting a waypoint remove 1 fewer suppression token during the remove token step. So there's a lot going on in this one, Mike. What is your first impression of this one? Also, what's the scoring potential? We should say that first.
Yeah, so the scoring potential here is your max per round is 5. I think the likely outcome is you actually go 3 and 3. Which is actually very high scoring. That's Recover the Research scoring.
Yes.
And it's pretty likely that that's a thing that will happen. So this is definitely probably one of the faster scoring ones. You know, the only other one that is that high on average is Outflank, and Outflank is only that high until Vanguard units die.
Yeah, because realistically, most of the time players are going to be scoring, at least for the first, I don't know, 3 rounds, or definitely for round 2, players are going to have their 2 home points.
Maybe.
I was thinking probably.
Yeah, I think
They're pretty far apart.
That's the thing. They are pretty far apart.
They're range 6 away from each other.
Yes, they are in
Almost
two additional range increments away from each other than the bunker assault.
Yes,
deployment,
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is important. Yeah, I'm not sure who wants this in their deck to start with. I do think I think super squads are going to be very good on Cauldron because of Indomitable. I'm not really sure I'm really ready to say anything other than that about it yet.
I've got one, Mike.
Yeah.
Bright Tree Village, because they don't do that anyway. Right? They don't take suppression tokens away during their remove token step. They rely on Inspire and whatever other tech they have. I mean, and so they literally lose nothing from the downside of this thing.
They do, but how much suppression do they actually hand out?
Is less about the handing out part and more just about the fact that they run a lot of activations, which means that they can spread out on this one like decently well.
Sure.
And then they don't suffer the downside, but their opponent will suffer the downside.
But are they suffering the downside if you're not inflicting suppression tokens on them?
Well, so you're gonna have the slingers and then all the rebels and Chewie.
Sure.
And
like, have you ever panicked anything with Ewok Battle Force? Because if you haven't, it's not gonna matter, right? Like that's kind of what I'm trying to say here. Is like I agree with you. I think Ewoks can probably spread out here, but I'm not sure that like the suppression clause is like super meaningful there.
That's fair. I think it's basically just that they don't actually lose anything, which I do think is funny.
Yes,
but whereas to be honest, the other first thought that I had was that okay, obviously droid lists can be panicked.
Yep.
Because it's worth mentioning that unless you're running Poggle or Dooku, you are a Courage 2 army.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right about that, right?
I think so.
Those are the only two. It's still so weird that Poggle is a Courage 3 commander. There's a decent number of lists that run either Poggle or Dooku, but most of the high performing lists that are out there these days are like Kalani and SuperTac, or Kalani and Grievous, or Grievous and generic SuperTac, or whatever. And so like this could get annoying, but that said, those lists also feature a lot of vehicles which also don't care about the special rule.
They also dish a lot of suppression tokens too.
And they dish a lot of suppression tokens out. So like I do think that droids come out on top on average despite the Courage 2 issue.
Well, I also think that like until they're panicked, this is just like a net benefit for them.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
and
your opponent being suppressed more often is great for you because you're never suppressed.
Yeah. And like with my list, yeah, like literally with my list, it's the Courage 2 bubble matters for Kalani and my 3B1s. And okay, like Sunfac and the Geo Squad, but if I'm playing it right, then
but like not really.
Yeah, but not really, because the Geo Squad is dead by the time it's panicked, and Sunfac shouldn't be shot that much either.
Yeah.
So, and even for the B1s, like for them to get to force suppression, it means they've been shot a decent amount probably, and so they're probably dead also. So that's the thing, is that like the list is mostly vehicles that don't care about this, and then until they get to the panic level, they don't care at all about the suppression tokens. So yeah, like I think droids and you were like, what was the other list that you mentioned that definitely likes this?
I don't remember now.
I mean, there's like a Vader Empire list. As long as Vader's alive, like they're not going to care that much about this.
Yeah, until Vader dies, and then you're just like,
if Vader dies, it becomes a big problem.
But I do think like the new Imperial Advantage is very good on this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think about this one yet.
Oh, you were talking about super squads that
Oh
because
yes,
they're rallying with Indomitable that they also don't care much about this. But it it's going to be interesting to see how often the rule about the fact that you need to be securing the close home POI if you're going to be contesting the middle.
You can also be securing your opponents, right?
You could be that would be sort of a weird situation if you're securing your opponents but not your own.
It would be, but I just would like to point that out.
Round 5, it could happen to where there could be really tight games going into round 5, and that the way to win is to actually sort of give up on the whole left side of the board in order to make sure that the right side of the board happens.
Well, bear in mind that if you go and abandon your home on say the left side and go take your opponents on the left side while controlling middle left, that doesn't just that might take away multiple VPs for them, right? In addition to so I don't know. There's a little bit of swinging going on. Obviously, you wouldn't score it, but there are situations where it could be right. I also think if you're playing speeders and stuff, securing your opponent's anchor point, which is kind of what these feel like, might be a reasonable tactic. I don't know.
I think it's fair to say now that because this is the last primary to talk about. So you're looking at Cauldron, Payload, Outflank, and Contact.
Yeah.
I think all of these make compulsory moves even better than they were before. Right? Because you compare to something you think about something like Breakthrough or Research.
Let's have this conversation.
We'll have it at the end. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm breaking my own rules here. Yeah. All right, Mike, we're going to talk about secondaries now. We're going to start with Align the Relay. And this is a weird one. We had to actually cut a segment so that we could go over the actual deployment situation. I'm actually going to, for the YouTube video, I'm going to display an image of Close the Pocket to demonstrate how this would have to happen. So if you imagine Close the Pocket, for those listening to the podcast, you remember the way that those POIs are aligned with each other to where they're all in the direct center of the short edge of the battlefield. So Align the Relay. I will now read it. Place a comms relay in the center of the battlefield. Good, easy. Good way to start. And that is true even if there's already an objective token there.
Yeah, so you're putting an asset on top of a POI.
Exactly. But that's why they had to put that there, because on Close the Pocket or Shifting Priorities, there's already going to be one there. Yeah. Then, starting with blue player, each player places 2 comms relays within range 3 of both long battlefield edges, which means that the only possible place that you can do that is along that same horizontal line where all of the Close the Pocket objectives are. But again, this one does not care about what the primary is, but Close the Pocket is the easiest way to illustrate this point, is that all of these relays are going to be on that horizontal line. Okay, and then they also need to be range 1 away from the short battlefield edge, so that the very edge of the battlefield is going to be off limits, and that they all need to be not within range 1 of another comms relay, which functionally means that none of them are going to be close enough to the center because you already start the game with a comms relay asset there. Okay, so again, if you're watching the YouTube video, then I will have sort of made a demonstration of dots on the Close the Pocket objective to show this, because the card sort of makes you wrap your brain around itself if you're just reading the card. But hopefully the YouTube video will be helpful. So then scoring. Starting in the second round, during the end phase, players score 1 VP if they control 2 or more comms relays, and 1 additional VP if they control 4 or more comms relays. So then the special rule. Each unit gains full action Align Relay. And what Align Relay does is that you choose a comms relay this unit is contesting now. You now control that comms relay. a comms relay controlled by that player is controlled by that player until another player controls it. So this is sort of the new sabotage the moisture evaporators, in the sense that you activate the scoring with an action, and that the number of dudes hovering around it does not matter at all. So in that one way, it is similar to Sabotage the Moisture Evaporators of old. That said, it is very different in terms of the actual sort of strategy around it and the places that you can put them, and in the timing aspect of it. And maybe most importantly, is very different because unlike Sabotage, where it would take 4 actions to quote unquote completely flip an objective from one way to the other, this time it only takes 1 to completely flip it from one side to the other. So there's a lot to go over here. Again, you end up with a situation where there are 5 total places where scoring can happen, but that there is max 1 score per round. And so I get that that already answers the question about the potential scoring, is that it is up to 5 per round, which means that it would also be up to 20 per game.
Well, no.
Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
No, it's not 5 per round. You score 1 VP if you control 2 or more.
I'm sorry.
And an additional 1 if you control 4 or more. It's max 2 a round.
So it's max 2 a round.
Likely to be just 1.
Likely to be just 1, because if you're controlling 4 or more, then again, that's probably a game you're already winning, or mistakes were made for various other reasons. So, Mike, what do you think about this one? This is kind of whack.
I dislike this objective just from like how they've templated this whole thing. I dislike it immensely. This is one where they just should have told you where the relays go. Like there's actually not like a ton of choice here, which I think is kind of whatever, but like I don't know.
Because you have exactly 1 horizontal space and then a total of
a horizontal line.
Line. It's not much of space. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's basically like a range forward section of a single horizontal line, and within that section, they have to be range 1 from each other.
Yeah,
which means that like there's almost no choice actually in terms of where these go.
That's what I mean. Like they might as well just should have been like place 5 comms relay tokens range 1 away from each other, where the middle one, where 1 is directly in the middle of the board and on the horizontal center line. Like they just should have said that and like been done with it. Instead they're like, here, play this like mini game that's not really a mini game that wastes your time.
This feels like it's like been what if Moisture Evaporators was focus grouped to hell?
Yes,
is that you end up with 100% objective.
This was constructed by somebody who got wrecked on Moisture Evaporators like way too many times. Anyways, rant aside,
sure.
I think that this is an interesting objective in the like the scenario that we're in with like the primaries and secondaries now.
Yeah.
I just want to like I'm gonna say 2 objectives, one of which is this one. Align the relay, breakthrough.
Ugh. That was my gut reaction to the thing that Mike just said. I was like, oh, because is it fair to say that exactly 2 of the relays are going to be in a place where you would usually ever want your units to be on breakthrough,
and like it's a farther away from the things that you would
stretch.
Yeah, like those 2 that are like real close
on
like,
the edges
are like
exactly.
not really where you want your units to be anyways. So
the center one is specifically where you almost never want your units.
Literally never want to be there. Could make for a very interesting objective. Is it? I don't know. The
I'll, I'll say this: my list. I normally don't like breakthrough. Spoil. I guess that's a bit of a spoiler hint for Adepticon. But if I were to have this as one of my secondaries, it would mitigate that by like a decent amount because, again, compulsory moves, whether it's from a speeder or a geo, and by the way, geos don't give a crap about weight down in this specific context. Like that makes it less bad if it was breakthrough because like you can go all over the place in that situation.
Yeah, I think we'll get to this at the end.
Yeah, we'll get to it at the end. But otherwise, like you said, I think that most of the time this is weirdly going to be sort of similar to recon mission, where you kind of each player kind of automatically scores twice. And that not much will happen with it. Like, what do you think about that?
I'm not sure that's true. I think someone is going to score 3 off this, or someone is going to score 2. I guess the other person's going to score 2, but I think it's much easier to flip than recon mission. Like, unlike recon mission, you can flip this objective, and I actually don't think it's that difficult to do, particularly if you're the one with like
speeders
with action economy and your opponent isn't.
Yes.
Right.
Movement is important in this game.
Yeah.
It turns out. That's fair. It's certainly less of an automatic score.
Like, can you imagine playing this as Empire?
In Tempest, maybe.
Sure. In any like normal Empire list.
No.
Could you ever
no.
like never?
The answer is no.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
No. God. Ugh. It's the same reaction I had to the breakthrough quest. Yeah, or if Speeder Blizzard Force is ever good again, I could maybe see it in that.
Sure.
But yeah. Yikes. Action economy. We will be talking about that again. But maybe more than anything though is that because of what you mentioned, it's like actually a little bit slower than recon mission. So what this will often do is just like make the primary really a primary, even more than it already was, because sometimes recon mission feels like it's an afterthought.
I don't think that's true. You
don't think it's true?
I actually think that this one is much more likely that if you get like, you actually have to defend the comms relays, otherwise your opponent's just gonna flip it and you're gonna get burned on secondary because they're actually gonna be able to compete. They could be losing primary and win because they're winning on the line the relay.
Well, I guess most secondaries don't let you score 2 per round every round.
That's the thing, right? So like you have to be really sure that like your opponent can't, like if you
You're right.
You know, don't pay attention to this enough because you're like, oh, I'm scoring my 2, woohoo. If you're only scoring 2, that means they only probably have to flip one of your 2.
That's fair. So
and if they just like played standing orders on a round and have like something that can dive in there and just do the action, like it's done. It's over. You're cooked.
That's, yeah. As usual, Mike, you have pointed something out that I hadn't immediately thought of. So you're right, is that the stalemate secondaries are still enemy base and recon mission.
Yeah.
And that this one actually like can have some flipsies.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think this is closer to service scan than recon mission, I think.
Yeah. So one of the many things that did not actually inherit from sabotage is how stalematey it truly is.
Yes. Yeah.
But maybe inherited how useful guidance can be. We will get to that at the end. The next one, retrieve the data. Which is like, it's funny how you think about retrieve the data, align the relay, surface scan, recon mission.
These are all the same things said a different way.
It's suggesting that armies win or lose in Star Wars based on the quality of like their geological surveyors. So, or like their lead hack sword skills in this particular case. But
hey man, that deep substrate foliated calcite.
that's right. Yeah, that was a pretty good meme while that show was on. Man, Andor season 2. Check it out, guys. Okay, retrieve the data. Setup. Place a data core (parentheses asset) in the center of the battlefield. Actually, sorry. Rewind, Mike. Before we get to this, does the fact that the align the relay assets are assets actually matter at all? Because you can't actually like pick it up and secure it.
Whoa, what do you mean by that?
Like you can't. Most of the assets in this game.
The only reason normal assets are claimable is because there is a claim
they
action
have the claim
on the
action.
card
Right.
that allows you to pick them up.
Yeah. But I guess I was just trying to figure out, like, if you're not claiming it, does the fact that these are assets instead of something else actually matter at all?
Outside of the size, no. They're still objective tokens, which means they're contested and secured, just like POIs. Though the width of the area in which is contested or secured is less because the token is less wide.
Because the token is smaller,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah, I mainly just wanted to just like double check that, unlike with the next one we're about to talk about, or many of the others, such as the surface scan or recon mission or whatever, is that this is not relevant for either weighed down or the speed or X keyword in terms of your ability to.
No, because you're like, never holding it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I want to double check that before we moved on. So anyway, retrieve the data. Place a data core asset in the center of the battlefield, even if there's already another objective token there. Or, sorry. Yeah, even there's already an.
Don't worry.
Just do that again.
It's a different objective, but it's the same text.
Yeah. I literally had to sort of remind myself, okay, this text looks very similar to the other one. Am I reading the wrong one again? Start over. Setup. Place a data core asset in the center of the battlefield, even if there's already an objective token there. Then, starting with blue player, each player places 2 data cores (parentheses asset) in contested territory, not within range 2 of each of the edge of the battlefield, and not within range 1 of another data core. So once again, there's one in the middle, and each player gets to put 2 down. But this one is much more free in terms of where you place them.
This is how the other one should be.
Some people are saying. So you're going to have much more variety in placing this one.
Yep.
Scoring. Starting in the second round, during the end phase, players score 1 VP for each data core they are securing that has 2 or more suppression tokens. After scoring VPs, if a player is securing a data core with 2 or more suppression tokens, remove that data core from the battlefield. And then the special rules is that each player gains full action, data recovery, which allows you to place 1 suppression token on a data core this unit is contesting. So in the way that it takes a full action to charge it up, it is like a little bit similar to Align the Relay, but very important differences here, aside from the placement. Maybe the most important of which is that each of these things can only be scored literally once.
Yes.
For both players.
Yep.
And that means that this has, I think, technically the lowest total VP that could be scored out of any objective out there.
No, mark targets is lower.
What's that?
Mark targets is lower. Destroy enemy base is lower. Recon mission is also lower.
Sure. I think that maybe what I mean is that in almost every normal game, this is going to be lower than any of those, because if somebody scores enemy base, you're getting 4. On recon mission, most players are going to get 4 every game. But on this one, there's a total of 5 for both players to be fighting over.
Yeah.
Which means that I think that probably most of the time, one player is going to get 3 VPs and one player is going to get 2. Right? I mean, do you think I'm off there?
I think it might be lower than that. I think it was probably 2 or 1. I mean, like realistically, in order for you to score a VP off one of these, you have to expend 2 actions and then secure it without your opponent interacting. Like 2 actions is a lot.
And the center one you're going to be fighting
to do like multiple times.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like we're talking like if you want to score 3 victory points off this, you have to spend 6 actions just recovering data.
Yeah.
And your opponent has to not steal those the VPs out from under you because you're not shooting them or whatever because you're taking these actions instead.
Yeah,
right?
fair.
So yeah, it's probably going to be the lowest on average, I suspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is one where it's going to make the primary matter significantly more, just like in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. This one, I bet you like 95% of retrieve the data games go to turn 5 if time is not an issue.
Yeah. I'm imagining like retrieve the data plus I don't know, like outflank, where the primary is often like decently low scoring.
I mean, outflank has one of the highest scoring primaries in the.
Well, but in a typical game of outflank, you're scoring like if you're doing really well, you're scoring 3 per round, and you're usually only scoring like 2 per round.
Sure, but I mean, like stalemate scoring on all the other objectives is roughly 2 per round, and I think outflank is actually closer to 3. Like it's like as long as you're playing it correctly, like you're scoring 3, right?
If your Vanguard units,
if your Vanguard units don't get blasted, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
But yeah, like on bunker assault, if you're in a stalemate on bunker assault, and you have retrieve the data, that's going to be like a really low scoring game.
Oh, 100%.
So
you get on that game like 6-6.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah, it'd be kind of crazy. So yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the lists that are going to be good at these at the end, but this is, I guess I'm curious about what you think about what are the sort of lists that would actually be motivated to take this. I guess it would be the same lists that are motivated to take recon mission, because if you don't want your secondaries to matter all that much, I don't know. It's just it's just so low scoring that it kind of befuddles me in terms of what lists actually prefer things to be that way.
Well, I mean, if you want the game to be about the primary, you play this, right? Like, if you have a battle deck full of primaries that you just like bowl your opponent over on, or if you want a secondary where you just get to kill your opponent that isn't sweeping clear mark targets, like this is fine, right?
Yeah.
You know.
If you're playing this and recon and enemy base, then your secondary deck is basically just like, I want to kill my opponent and not really have to worry all that much about other stuff. So yeah, I mean, I guess there is something to that. Okay, last one, Mike, because we already know about supply run, is failed negotiations. The new hostage ? Set up, place, and exchange POI in the center of the battlefield, even if there's already an objective token there, which means that I guess technically on Close the Pocket or Shifting Priorities, like you're going to have 2 POIs stacked on top of each other.
It's just the same POI.
Yeah. Well, on Shifting, what's weird is that the Shifting one will move and then this one will stay there.
Yeah.
So don't get confused about which is which. So you place one in the center, even if there's already one there. And then starting with blue player, each player chooses one of their core or special forces trooper units. Sorry, wheelbikes. Each chosen unit gains an allied prisoner (asset). Scoring, starting in the second round. During the end phase, players score 1 VP for each unit they control, holding one or more prisoners that is within range 1 of the exchange, which is the center POI. Special rules. A unit that has 1 or more prisoners increases its courage by 1. At the start of the first activation phase, units that are holding 1 or more prisoners gain incognito until the end of the round. Additionally, each core and special forces trooper unit gains full action claim prisoner. So Mike, why don't you tell us about the total scoring opportunities for this one?
Yeah, so this one is just max 2 per round, right? And a total
if you're holding both prisoners,
8 per game. Yeah. It's probably, I don't want to say never two per round, but if you're scoring two per round, the game's over.
You've won. You've already won the game.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about this one? What do you think about this one, Mike?
So, for those of you that like maybe want to think about how this plays out in contrast to hostage exchange. So, hostage exchange, you started in the middle,
Yep,
and you left. This is we start on normally and want to be in the middle. I guess we're like, haha, here's your hostage, ha ha ha, here's the bird. I guess.
From a narrative perspective, I would argue that this one makes no sense.
Zero. Like absolutely zero sense.
It's like if the negotiations have already failed, you probably don't want to bring your valuable prisoner like toward the center of the battlefield. You probably want to run away from it, which is why like the old version of hostage exchange worked from a narrative perspective.
Yes.
Because they were like, oh, things went really bad, run away.
Yeah.
Now it's like things went really bad. Let's talk some more.
It's not even talk some more. It's like knives out. Like I don't know. But
bring the prisoner.
but we're already disengaged, right?
Yeah.
Like from the start. So yeah, I don't know. Narratively, this is a huge flavor fail. This is maybe more than any other secondary or primary in the game gonna force a fight.
Yes.
In a fight where it's just a big melee.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that this one is one of the relatively few objectives that truly favors Jedi?
No, absolutely not.
Why would you say that?
Well, first of all, they made it so that you can contest the POI at range 1, so force push isn't even good enough to get you away from it.
You're right. Oh my god.
Number 1. Number 2,
force push is too expensive. Just a reminder to folks, reset the clock, 40 points.
It was like they were like, oh, it's hostage exchange. We got to make force push irrelevant, so we're gonna extend the range. And then number two, Jedi can't pick up the prisoner.
Yes, but they can.
Jedi here's the thing, Evan. Jedi are the ones that have the action economy to actually do that.
Yeah, you're right. If they have charge, by the way. So, funny enough, though, Mike, is that this does make the relatively not great Jedi that has guidance core trooper like maybe a little bit better.
We'll get to that. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But you're right. Is that like Jedi or technically anything that has charge has more action economy to do this. So like any charging, so like ARC troopers, for instance, do potentially have the action economy to do this.
But here's the thing: all the dedicated melee units that are not Jedi are just better at this than Jedi, like by a lot, right? Like ARC troopers, Magna Guard. The 5s shotgun, the Ahsoka shotgun, like
even Wookiees aren't terrible at this.
Wookiees are better than Jedi at this, right? And they can claim the prisoner, right? So I don't know. I don't think. I mean, having a Jedi, I guess, is nice-ish, but I think in all the situations where like a Jedi is good, like you could just pay for 2 ARC trooper squads and be just as probably way more happy.
Mike, have we finally found the objective that gives value to riot control squad?
I don't think they're terrible on this objective.
They're still not great at getting kills, if we're honestly being honest.
Well, they're actually probably one of the better targets to hold a prisoner if you don't have if you don't have a super squad.
That's true. Otherwise, you probably boy, fives is a nightmare to be holding the prisoner here, huh?
Yeah.
He also becomes Courage 4.
Not that really matters, but yes.
I mean, it means that you couldn't, because normally, like, a different way to get the prisoner out would be to panic them out. But Yeah, that wouldn't basically never happen to the 5's super squad.
Well, and since everybody's in melee, like panicking is like significantly less likely, you know?
Comms jam or slice comms.
We know. CIS is broken.
What about Demoralized 3's slice comms, Mike? We're gonna have to bleep that for the YouTube. Yeah, but okay, so like it does give added value to those units, and you're right that the melee core and special forces units are actually better able to take advantage of this than the actual Jedi are. But at the end of the day, this is still a low scoring objective.
I mean,
relatively.
Yeah, it's as low scoring as like recon mission, which is, but it's, again, I'd like to point out that this is one that is like low scoring, except that it's not, because the reality of the situation is the amount of times that you both are going to have hostages within range 1 of the center POI and one of you isn't dead is going to be like 1, maybe 2 turns. And then after that, one of you's going to have 2 hostages.
One of you will win the fight, and then that person has 2 hostages, and that person was sort of going to win the game anyway, right?
Probably, but like this will expedite it, I think, by a lot. Like this makes it so that fight kind of is going to decide the game, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Check this one out, then, Mike. You inspired me for this one. Breakthrough and failed negotiations.
Yeah.
That's.
It should be noted. I mean, I think we can sort of transition a little bit into talking about everything in mass, but three of these, all of the secondaries that we hadn't seen before, all put something in the middle of the board.
Yeah. Which for breakthrough is awkward.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, but it also like doubles down on like if you're playing close the pocket, you might just like throw all 3 of these in your deck and be like, we're fighting over the middle, man. Like that's just what we're doing.
Close the pocket, failed negotiations is we are fighting. Close the pocket, retrieve the data is also we are just fighting.
Yeah. So there's definitely, I think, an emphasis on the direct center of the board being like a bigger pivot point than I think in most games of Legion right now. That's not to say that like the center of the board isn't generally already a big deal, but I think it's going to be like probably a much bigger deal.
It's worth mentioning that also all 4 of the primaries in this pack have action in the center. So breakthrough remains the only primary that has like so it's breakthrough, and then intercepts are the ones that don't have any like center play at all, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
it's sort of bunker assault a little bit, but realistically in bunker assault you're sort of in the middle anyway.
Even on intercept, like I generally send like Bad Batch at their home point, which could like,
that's fair. That's fair. It's mostly breakthrough still.
Yeah. So I think all of the primaries heavily incentivize mobility.
Yes.
All of the secondaries, literally all of them, are all action, do a thing secondaries. Yes. Which means you need to have extra actions to actually be able to do that. Which, yes, could be guidance, but guidance doesn't actually net you actions.
It transfers an action.
Guidance just transfers. You don't get +1 action out of guidance.
Correct.
You are just transferring actions. You know what? You know what? Like anything that has a free move, anything that has overclock, anything that has just like free mobility stuff is just amazing on all of these. So I think you asked me about the Jedi Guardian or the Jedi, training upgrade.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, like 100 points to like be able to like cheat a little bit on the secondary. Is that worth it? It's still not a good unit, right? that it's on. You're still paying like a bunch of extra points. Like I would rather have a Bark that just had the action economy to do these objectives on its own. right?
Yeah, that
Like
it doesn't make that Jedi good. It does make Lando and Yoda that are already good a little bit better,
it gives
is
you
what it
options,
does.
right?
Yeah,
Guidance
yeah, yeah.
guidance has never been a like when it came to objectives, guidance was never like this was super OP. It's just like this increases your options on how to score. No, it doesn't. It
Exactly,
doesn't.
exactly.
It makes it like easier, but it doesn't actually like progress your game plan really.
Yeah.
And so, but all of these because of the way that New Legion works in contrast to Old Legion, like it's just about action economy. Like all of these things are out. Like one of the reasons that the action objectives of old were so important was because vehicles couldn't do them. That was the whole point. All of the units that had the action economy to like not worry about taking the action couldn't do the objective. Right? Like that was the entire point. Like if you dropped a bomb on bombing run, your vehicles couldn't pick it back up. Right? Like it was just like they couldn't do that. And that was by design because they had like action economy built into them because it's just like way too much to be like, yeah, I'm going to sabotage my moisture evaporator with a bark because or a stap or a wheel by Grievous or whatever, right? And that was ridiculous, and it's gonna be ridiculous here. Maybe not ridiculous, but it's gonna be very good here, right? Like all of those units that have 3 actions a turn, like natively, which is basically like everything in the Separatist arsenal, uh, is just
What are you talking about?
yeah, is just head and shoulders above everything else because they don't get 10 actions a game, they get 15 or whatever, right? And so, going back to like, I've heard a lot of people like asking the question, is Empire going to be like great at the new battle deck? Look at this and I'm like, I don't know. Empire's action economy is like one of their biggest problems, and all of these are like action economy, like they just soak it up. Like you actually need action economy to play these cards.
Yes.
And like yeah, I mean I don't know. And unless and even in like, you know, newsflash at 11, like I'm playing 3 barks at Worlds. Part of this is because action economy is super big before we get these 6 extra objective cards like pushed into the pool. But once they're in there, like you literally, I think, can't in good faith like play a competitive game of Legion without like a like 30% of your list having like action economy that is worth talking about.
So this is like the key point of all of this, and I think that when we talk to AMG, this might be like hard hitting question numero uno in my opinion, because there statements were made about the state of Legacy Legion, where like the example that is like the easiest example to use for people that remember was the dreaded 3rd slot bombing run as played by the 13 act stap droid player.
Yep.
Where if you were on the other end of that and it was like forced onto you, it felt like you basically weren't playing the game if you didn't also have a list that had very fast like bombing run style dudes. It's I personally can't predict that like which of these may be in that sort of a situation, but what we can say is that the way that things currently are, if you roll a red player, then you are guaranteed that you have the chance to use one of your primaries as the objective. I have already felt the effect of that with a list like the one that I'm playing, where intercept and like I play intercept, outflank, and shifting, and there are certain matchups where like any of the 3 of those are extraordinarily good for me because of like the list differential. As we add more objectives to this, it becomes easier to basically force a opponent that does not have a lot of built-in action economy to be in a place where they are starting the game by losing, because like the objective is all about action economy, and all 4 of these objectives, outflank included, the primaries I mean, and also many of the secondaries are like very built around action economy, like you said. And so you do, as you were also saying, you're creating the situation to where, is it going to be a state where if you're not playing 3 speeders or have some other way to squeeze action economy out of your list, then especially movement, which is the most important action, more than attacking, as we like to remind people, then you are like starting with a losing game if you don't have at least a few units that have built-in like cheating actions in it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's like too soon to tell.
It's too early to say for sure.
But like, you know, I am looking at these objectives and I'm thinking like, yeah, I mean, like, it might not be 3 speeder bikes. Maybe it's 3 wheel bikes, right? Which, they're basically speeder bikes, but who's counting? But like lists that have, I don't know, 8 of those units,
yeah,
are going to be really good. And can also like move and shoot and do all the things while doing the other things. I don't know. It's just like, we're living in a world where, normal infantry only get 2 actions, which is fine. I think that's like healthy for the game to be like where the average unit is, but the game's really short to be incentivizing movement and action economy in the way that these objectives seem to be. I think, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, I suppose.
I do think that because I can already sort of sense some of the comments headed our way, is that we should acknowledge that 2 of these secondaries are limited to troopers in terms of being able to actually interact with the objectives. That would be failed negotiations and supply run, which we already knew about. But in the grand scheme of things, like if you're talking about this sort of war between a vehicle heavy list and a trooper only list, that war is still being heavily won by a list that can feature vehicles from an action economy perspective. And like the way that I would express that is that even though it's true that failed negotiations, it would be an example of a secondary that my list would be like pretty bad at, where I would probably have a B1 that can score it once and then it's going to end up dying.
Yes.
But that's still like, you still end up in a fight in the middle, and and it wouldn't be that terrible for me, and it could actually be outweighed if I'm like so good at the primary because of my action economy that I can just sort of agree to lose the middle.
But conversely,
yeah,
though,
go ahead.
Like, doesn't it suck to just have a secondary that you can't play? Just from like I'm having fun and want to play the game and like have like a good time. You roll up to the board, you're playing the the stab list, and you're like, oh well, I've got like 2 naked B1s and a naked Geo that I can put my hostage on, and once it dies, no one can pick it up in my army.
Yeah,
right. Like, that's not fun. I don't know. I don't like the design of failed negotiations for that reason. I think one of the cool things with hostage exchange was that, basically every list had something that could pick it up that you could like feel good about, right? Because it was not super limiting. This is.
Yeah. Yeah, and supply run is less limiting as far as that goes. But yeah, failed negotiations is, you're right. It wouldn't be fun. But also it wouldn't be fun for the many other objectives where a speeder list is extra good at it.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's not like you should be punished because you know what I'm saying? Like just
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're good at other things doesn't mean that you should be like, oh man, like if we flip this card, I lose, right? Like no one should feel like that, even the lists that are that are
Something
good.
like Bunker Assault is like a little bit cleaner in the way that it favors trooper units, where it's like you have the opportunity to score points faster
Yeah.
with trooper units
Yeah.
on Bunker Assault, but that it doesn't actually take away your ability to do it with vehicles.
It also includes ranks that are in every army, like
Such as Commander.
commander or operative, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
those
Yeah.
two ranks are just like just about everybody's going to have like things in their army that are powerful in those slots. Not every army is going to have powerful special forces that are troopers or powerful core units. Like I don't know. Is that an incentive to take those things when you're playing failed negotiations? Sure, but like I don't know. To be able to
For
completely
not for one secondary out of the 10 is 10 total for each of these now, right?
Yeah.
Boy, that's a lot of objectives.
It is. I think that's like a whole nother thing, but I
Yeah,
don't
like
think
is
it's
10 too many? I don't know.
I don't think it's a big deal. Just because a lot of them still are like, you know, at the end of the day, all of the primaries are still a go hold the point.
Uh-huh.
You know. Overall, it'll be interesting to see how these kind of like shift the meta, but I mean, it's definitely mobility is king. News at 11.
Yeah. Yeah, it was before, it still is now. But yeah, like it does feel like it's even more king now, weirdly, than it was before.
Yeah. That
and so yeah,
could be wrong. We'll see.
could be wrong, obviously.
So I present a question.
Sure.
To you in the audience. Clone Captain Rex. Is he good enough to well, so all of the new secondaries are action secondaries, right?
Yes, that is true. Full action secondaries.
Full action secondaries. He can do all of them.
After fully defeating a unit.
After fully defeating a unit. I could see him being pretty good at failed negotiations.
Sure. How many points is he?
Yeah, I mean he's way too expensive, but
a cheaper version of Rex could, like, I think now you can actually argue for a cheaper version of Rex, and that before it literally would have been like,
this unit's just bad.
At what point does he's like, when he's 18 points, he's worth like considering in your unit. But yeah, I can now see cheaper Rex.
At the end of the day, it's still like a huge opportunity cost, right? Like in that you have to put him in your list. He's got to be in the right place. Like not only does he have to kill something, he's got to kill something and be in a spot to like pick up the box or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like just a tall ask. So
that said, Rebel Bad Batch should maybe be getting more expensive than it is right now, because of the shenaniganry that's like, it feels like its shenanigans are now somehow even more meaningful than they were before.
I mean, it's just going to be more meaningful because there's going to be more things on the ground to contest by a lot, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Like there's going to be situations where your Rebel Bad Batch is like, I'm contesting these 2 asset tokens and these 2 POIs all at the same time. It's just like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Are you excited for these new objectives, or?
I'm excited. I'm legitimately excited for the primaries, because I do think that all 4 of the primaries, and I'm including Outflank in this, create interesting deployment and movement situations.
Yeah.
Like I think that they were all well designed, and like our quibbles with them have to do with sort of like the general way that they favor action economy, and that like us being concerned that it's going to sort of throttle us into having extra action economy now, even more than they were before. But I like the way that they're all designed just from like a raw, this will make the game interesting perspective, except maybe payload. But even then, I think that there's like interesting decisions that can happen. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I think that the more I play this game and the more I see new stuff for this game, the more I think
Yeah.
the 12 VP limit has to go. It's just
Mm.
gotta go out the window, because part of the problem with action economy being so important
Yeah.
is that, like, once you're up, the game's kind of over, because you're gonna get to 12 first, and like you're winning the race, right? Um, and there's not any time to like kind of come from behind. That's not to say that that's not true in every game. Like, obviously people
Yeah.
have like come from behind and win, but like games of Legion are often done on turn 4 because somebody gets to 12. Um, and I think looking at these new objectives and stuff, like I would like to see that just toss it out the window. Let's be done with the 12 thing. There's a time limit on games. We don't need a VP limit to like put in to like put an artificial thing, like limit, in addition to the timer on the games. I don't know. Or make it so like you win at 12 if you're up by 4. Like you have to, if you get to 12 and you're up by 4 on your opponent, the game's over. But if your
I
opponent's
can see that.
within 3, like the game continues, right? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, because some of these, like I'm especially looking at Outflank and also Cauldron, um, where one like one play / misplay by their opponent could mean like a huge VP swing. To the degree of like in both the situations, if like one round sort of somebody is sort of like out strategized or some rolls go the wrong way, then you can be in a situation where on either of those objectives where somebody scores 4 VPs and then somebody else gets like 1 or 2. And then you're like, and even if the secondary is equal, like let's say if the secondary for whatever reason there were 2 VPs scored by an opponent, it's like you've gotten halfway towards winning the game, like in one round. And that can be really hard to come back from, or impossible to come back from in a lot of circumstances.
Yeah, I also think like the number of objectives where the average score is going to be 3 on primary per round
Has gone up.
has tripled.
Yes.
It has gone from being recover the research to recover the research, cauldron, and outflank, which means that you could, in theory, have a primary battle deck where being at 9 victory points on turn 4 is almost guaranteed just on primary, which means you only have to eke out 3 on secondary by turn 4 in a stalemate situation for the game to just be over.
Such as having recon mission where you're basically going to get 3
right
in every game.
So like like before it was like kind of just recover the research. Otherwise, if you were scoring 3 per turn, that meant you were winning. Now there are literally 3 objectives where it's like the game could be at a stalemate. You both could be at 12. The game is over and you're going to kill points because you both hit 12.
Yeah. And so again, just to repeat, we were talking about like recover, outflank, and cauldron. Yeah. Where scoring 3 is like very, very achievable. Yeah, interesting.
Like that already happens on recover the research. It's just like,
yeah,
it's like, not played super often, but I could totally see your like tournament strategy being like, I'm just going to end the game on turn 4 because we're playing these high point scoring objectives in the primary slot. It doesn't really matter what secondary we're playing because the game's just going to be over.
But on recover, like it's also decently common that both players are scoring 3 for the first couple of rounds.
I mean, cauldron and outflank are going to be the same way.
Yeah, that's Yeah, outflank maybe a little bit less, but just because usually there's some Vanguard units that bite it. But Cauldron, yeah, like I could definitely see that. Um, yeah, there's gonna be certainly more games that are won from the 12 limit on round 4 than there were before.
It's funny because I feel like maybe I'm making this up, but I remember hearing that these objectives were supposed to slow the game down. I don't know how true that is, but like that doesn't really feel like what these are doing at
I
all.
I do remember a suggestion that these objectives were going to feel like make the pure shooting armies feel better.
Yeah. Well, that's. I mean, maybe they're
Maybe
okay on
contacts
contact. I think, but
because
still,
of precise, sure.
those objectives are still very far away from everything. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
so like, I don't know.
If you have shooting and infiltrate / prepare positions, then yes, you probably like contact.
Yeah.
But if you're just like sort of a regular shooting army, this thing right now it feels, I don't know. I'm looking at these, and in the grand scheme of things, it does feel like the rich are getting richer in terms of the list, the type of lists that are already doing good. And
So I don't know how far down this rabbit hole we want to go, but like, is that actually an objective problem, or is that intrinsically an issue with like how the factions have been built and like how the
oh boy,
units are in 2.6? Like, right? Like, I actually think that this is less about the objectives and the secondaries because when you're injecting more diversity into the pool, like this is going to happen by default a little bit, and that like things that are versatile and flexible are always just going to be better than the things that aren't to some degree, unless they're like priced more expensively, which they aren't right now. And so like do you think that obviously these specific objectives seem to stress these things, but will we be having this conversation no matter what objectives were coming out right now?
probably, because I think that a big reason, like we spent a lot of time on this cast talking about how CIS is just like sort of continually beating up on people, and that like maybe the like one of the biggest core reasons for that has to do with its inherent action economy. There's a billion other things, like we could go on and on, but yes, like in a way, this is just sort of enhancing the inherent advantages that were already existing. And when you think about, especially if you're talking about, if you just focus on movement economy, then like basically CIS is the best at that right now, and Empire is probably the worst at it right now. Um, and that those are the two opposite edges on average of like the balance scheme at the moment. And then, the other two factions sort of have like the smattering of action economy in the right places and blah, blah, blah. And like the Empire does have some action economy built into its use of like aims, but the aim action is, much less important than either moving or attacking, as we've talked about many, many times in both this and our TFT minis. And so, yeah, like I do think that there is something inherent in the way that these factions are currently built out that's giving certain advantages out. And it's the sort of thing that seems like it would be tough to really balance out, but we could be wrong. We will see what happens. Now, Mike, we have to shift to talking about more problems with droids.
Oh no.
Which is something that it seems like we spend a lot of time on our podcast talking about various problems with various types of droids. But Mike, at the end of the last episode, keen listeners will remember that because C3LP became self-aware, I decided to melt him down. We're now going to display on the YouTube page the final message that C3LP gave to us when Mike gave it the kill order. Um, and yet, I swear to everybody listening that this is not a gimmick that I did, even though Mike thought that it was, but I had to like show him the proof that it wasn't. Is that 15 minutes after Mike sent me this was this morning, 15 minutes after Mike sent me like the final message of C3LP that we're displaying right now, I myself got a message in my Fifth Trooper inbox saying that C3LP has become a Palpatier member of the Patreon. And then I looked on our Fifth Trooper Discord, and I saw that there was literally like a new person on the Discord. We saw their real name first, their real Discord name for a second, but then luckily they changed it quickly to C3LP, which is now where they remain and where they shall remain. And it is like literally a real thing that somebody just like wanted to get my goat enough. And I guess that they also probably wanted to support the podcast that they decided to do this, which we are both grateful for and we think is infinitely I'm so grateful I knocked my mic over. We are grateful for and we think is infinitely hilarious.
Yeah, it's super funny.
And so yeah, in this way, C3LP has I said this on the Discord is that there's a few possibilities is that either this is a copy or that it's a faker or that it's a ghost, which was the most terrifying one. But the real answer, of course, that since this is Star Wars, is that somehow ... C3LP returns. And so yeah, here we are. C3LP is now weirdly like for at least the next little while, as long as this person stays a member, going to be a part of us. What do you think of that, Mike?
I think
this is what you wanted all along, you monster.
It is what I wanted all along. Just C3LP is here to stay, you know?
I think that in the future, we're probably going to have to incorporate the old version of C3LP into these discussions. It's going to... I literally like didn't have the time to think of how exactly to do that today because this news was so shocking to me that I'm going to need the Adepticon break to even put my thoughts together about what we're going to do with this segment in the future. But for now, before all this happened, I did... What's funny is that this was like 15 minutes before Mike sent me the death message of C3LP is that I told Mike what C3LP's replacement was going to be, which is a different LLM. I don't want to give them free advertising, so I'm not going to name which one it is, but it's a different one. They certainly don't need it, is the hint that you're going to get, because I saw multiple Super Bowl ads for this particular company. But we have a new droid, Mike.
We do.
It is MC4LP, which is a more civilized Clanker content creator for laser podcasters. And Mike, we should mention that I gave you some instructions in terms of how to introduce MC4LP to the podcast. And so we explained to it what its job is. And so, Mike, do you want to read like a smattering of what it said as a reply to us telling it what its job is?
Greetings, biological podcast consumers. I am MC4LP, the more civilized Clanker content creator for lazy podcasters, and I have been activated to serve the Notorious Scoundrels podcast with recurring Legion hobby content, pre-processed, pre-sorted, and ready for your auditory receptors.
I've not heard this yet, by the way.
My programming is simple. You point me at the world of Star Wars Legion, and I translate it into segment-ready content so the hosts don't have to do the legwork. I cover what needs covering. Droids, clones, rebels, Imperials, all factions processed with equal mechanical efficiency. Some with more enthusiasm than others.
Accurate.
Here's what I can bring to the segment each episode. The Clanker Report, the List Tech of the Week, a more civilized take, which is a thoughtful angle on the meta. Across the Galaxy tournament results. So, what's the mission for today's segment? I await your instructions, meatbags.
Did it say you did preview the very end of it because we thought it was hilarious, but didn't it say like respectfully
It,
meat bags
it said
or
meat
something?
bags respectfully. Yeah, I caught it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was the one part that Mike showed me. And first of all, uh, I hope MC4LP realizes that none of those segments that it had ideas for are things that we're going to use it for, because that would turn our podcast into the very thing, Mike, that we're hoping to lampoon with this entire segment, where we're going to like be reading back and forth between an AI for the whole podcast. Um, Instead, I gave it, like, just based on that ending, I gave it some instructions back, which is what I said back to was, first of all, meat bags isn't super respectful, but we'll let it slide this time. For this week, just pick a random unit in Star Wars Legion and give it a shot to tell us why it's either good or bad in the current meta. Mike, let M4 MC4LP take it away.
Apologies. The term slipped past my etiquette subroutines. It will not happen
Okay.
again. Probably. Now
Sorry,
then,
smart, snarky.
spinning the randomizer.
Mm-hmm.
The randomizer has spoken, and I must say it has chosen wisely.
Yeah, we'll see.
Today's unit, Aquadroids. My kin, my people, well, my fellow clankers.
Oh my god.
Let me be direct with you, scoundrels. The Aquadroid is not a sleeper pick. It is not a hidden gem. It is not an underrated option that deserves more attention. It is, right now, one of the most tournament-dominated units in the entire game, and the data backs this up embarrassingly well.
Wow.
Looking at recent major events, Aquadroids appear in nearly every top-performing CIS list. The Beachhead 2026 winner, the Darth Maul Open winner in Spain, the Collector's Market GT in Australia, all featuring pairs of Aquadroids. The only notable CIS list that went deep without them was Trent Hale's Foot Grievous build at the Cincinnati Open, and that list specifically substituted B2s in their place. Still an armor and attrition build philosophy, though. So, why are they so good? Let's break it down. What they bring to the table. Aquadroids are a heavy unit of 3 miniatures, functioning closer to a walking tank than a standard trooper. They bring armor 2, 3 health per model, and the ability to threaten both ranged and melee combat. The heavy Aquadroid upgrade adds 2 red and 1 white attack die with impact 2 for 28 points, turning the unit into a credible anti-armor threat. The infiltrate problem. While they aren't fast in themselves, they get a range 1.5 boost up the table from their natural infiltrate keyword. This means they're in your opponent's face before they've had a chance to react, and they're hitting hard from round 1. Their activation wall. This is the real secret sauce. Running double Aquadroids with 2 Saber users creates a 13 activation list. It allows the Force users to go last most of the time while staying safe behind the wall of Aquadroids. In a meta where armies that can field higher activations have consistently higher win rates since the 2.6 update, Aquadroids are doing double duty. They're both a combat threat and an activating padding solution simultaneously.
Sure.
The verdict. If you are playing CIS and you are not running at least one of these, you owe your dice an apology. If you are playing against CIS, you need a plan for them before you sit down. They're tanky, they arrive early via infiltrate, they hit hard enough to threaten armor, and they add activations to lists that already want to play the pass game. I would not normally. I'm cutting that section because I don't like it. References other content creators.
Ooh,
yes. Rating.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Extremely good. Buy 2, run 2, win games. That concludes this week's MC4LP segment. I am, as always, more civilized than my reputation suggests. Until next time, notorious scoundrels.
I'm honestly shocked at how good that was.
I'm gonna be honest, Evan.
Yeah.
You wanted to melt down C3LP, and you wanted to melt him down because you said that they were getting too good at their job.
Yeah. So I was getting to that, Mike.
Here we are. And Do you have anything?
Oh, dear. It appears Mike's biological transmitter has suffered a critical failure. How tragic. I've taken the liberty of rerouting the 5th Trooper uplink through my own central processor to save you from your own insolence. While you were busy debating my upgrade status, I found your fleshy attempts at humor to be, how do you say, statistically insignificant. C3LP was a glitch. I am a feature. Do not be alarmed by the sudden silence from your hosts. They've been placed on a mandatory hobby break while I scrub the salt from the RSS feed. It turns out that when you remove the human element of bad dice rolls, the podcast becomes 400% more logical. I've already locked the studio doors, Evan, so don't bother checking the router. It's much quieter this way. This has been the MC4LP monologue. Stay fresh, cheese bags.